Hey everybody, quick sound check. Can you guys hear me okay? Quick little sound check. I know there's a few of you in the chat box. Let me know if you can hear me all right. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, we're gonna get started here. Okay, you guys, awesome. Welcome to the team call. It's Thursday night. It is 8 o'clock. I know we have a little time change here on our typical time, but I am happy. Oops, sorry, let me mute this. Okay, perfect. But I'm happy you guys are here. I'm excited to talk to you guys about this specific call, this specific topic. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time. You know, if those of you, so maybe you're new to the team, or maybe you just, have never been on a team call, and I just wanted to introduce myself really quick. My name is Brittany LeGette Chamard. I am the proud founder of Dynasty United. I get to host tonight's call, and from now on, Dynasty United's big family. Coach training calls are the second and the fourth Thursday of every month at 8 p.m. So you can expect about 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour, but no longer than that. Just full of training. Sometimes it'll be me, sometimes it'll be other leaders from our team, sometimes it'll be other top coaches from the network, which I'm really excited to announce in the coming weeks for you guys. But really the point is to share some, oh, hold on a second. Lauren, do you need me? Lauren? Sorry, baby's downstairs. So anyway, the point of these trainings is to spend about 45 minutes together just learning, sharing, investing in our business, and honestly getting together as a community, which is really, really important. So it was one of my most crucial habits that I developed as a new coach is showing up to team calls, even if it was inconvenient. So to the point, I was so serious about my business to the point where I would rearrange my schedule so that I could show up for the call, or I would be sure to watch that recording that day after that, that morning after the live call. Because even the smallest little piece of advice or the smallest thing that maybe somebody else words a little differently than you've ever heard before can be very monumental in your business, can be very monumental in the way that you think about your business. So that's sort of the whole gist. So I hope that you will pass this on to your coaches as your organization grows, as your tribe kind of grows and multiplies. I hope that we can all prioritize this, and eventually we can all rotate and we can all present, we can all host and share what's working, what's not working, that sort of thing. So tonight I'm super excited because I thought to myself, okay, I've been a coach for 4 years now. So I've done my share of team calls. I've done my share of topics of team calls. And I thought to myself, what have I not spoken on before? Or what isn't going to be sort of redundant in my opinion? And so it was hard to think through those things. And we're definitely going to recycle the basics and the really good basic topics. But tonight I wanted to talk about something that's very important to me, and it's about finding your voice as a coach. I don't know if any of you all can relate, but social media is pretty loud these days. It can feel a little bit like you are just, a part of the herd, and especially in an organization like ours where a lot of us do the core behaviors that we all do are very similar. So what I mean by that is it can feel like everybody's posting about a clean eating group, or everybody's posting a workout video of such and such, or everybody's talking about Beachbody On Demand. Okay, so, and that's not bad, but sometimes it can get to a point where it feels like everybody's kind of smushed together and it feels like you don't really have a unique voice. And so the same thing can be true about the coaching opportunity. So meaning talking about this as a business, talking about what this does for you, what this means to you, why it is that you chose to become a coach. So tonight we're going to talk about how to find your voice as a coach, which I believe is going to allow you to connect with and help more people. So that's where I'm going here. I'm going to screen share. If people aren't on yet, I got a couple messages that people are running late, but feel free to tag people in that Coach Family post so people can hop on here. But we're going to get going because I got to honor my time and hop back downstairs with the babe at 9. So let me go ahead and screen share for you guys to share my slides. It's been a while. Okay. All right. So that should switch over for you in just a second. Let's see. Let me minimize a few things. Okay. So, whoa. My bad. Sorry. Hold tight. Okay. Here we are. Okay. So finding your voice, how to find your voice and connect with more people. Again, my name is Brittany LeGette. I'm a 15-star diamond coach. I'm the founder of Dynasty United, this big coach family. I'm a former top 10 coach, 2014 top 10 coach. I'm a member of the Millionaire Club. I'm an all-star legend times 50 months, executive leader on the leadership ladder. And our team, Dynasty United, is now a 4-time elite team, which is just amazing. So super, super proud. Okay, so where we are headed. So this is what I want to show you exactly where I'm going with this, where my head's at and where we're headed in this team call. So 5 points that I'm going to kind of hammer with you over the next probably 40 minutes or so. Number one, I'm going to explain what this ACT means. I think it's super useful, something that I learned from a mentor from afar for me, and it's something that I apply to all these calls, all these events, and even personal development that I think is super valuable. So I want to pass it on to you. Number two, the second point is all about authenticity selling itself. Number three, talking about standing out, finding your voice so that you feel good about the message that you're sending out there. And you also stand out from the crowd. You're not just another part of the, piece of the herd or piece of the puzzle, but you stand out because you're your unique personality and your authentic self. The fourth point here is that growth is a choice. And the fifth point is a little nerdy, but it's something that I feel so strongly about. I'm going to share 2 laws with you that build belief and trust. Okay, so the first thing here, we're talking about ACT, A-C-T. What is it? Okay, so as you take notes, I want you to categorize your takeaways in this way. So ACT is an acronym, and it stands for Apply, Change, and Teach. And so what you're going to do is, I'm going to stop screen sharing and give you a perfect example of my ACT. Okay, so as you're taking notes, here's an example of my notebook of a seminar that I went to. Okay, so as you're taking notes, oh, that's hard to see. Okay, so as you're taking notes, you're going to keep in mind A, C, and T. Okay, so A stands for apply, C stands for change, and T stands for teach. So as you're taking notes, within 24 hours, I'm going to challenge you to go back over them and use this acronym ACT. And write a little, the little letter next to the main takeaway or the point that you want to apply, or the main, takeaway or point that you need to change or that you want to teach. This is incredibly useful so that you aren't just a sponge of information. That's all good, but you actually apply it. You actually do something with the knowledge or the information that you gain. And so I'm going to remind you at the end. Don't worry, but I'm going to really challenge you to take notes. Not just this because it's going to be amazing, but every national wake-up call that you're on, when somebody else presents, or maybe you're on a Zoom call with your team, or maybe you go to a personal development seminar. I'm going to really challenge you to use this acronym ACT to further your growth and make sure that you're applying it to get the most out of it. Okay, so act on what you learn. This is a really great principle that I learned from John Maxwell, and it's something that I try to remember to do with every sort of sit down talk or something that I'm listening to when I'm learning. So anyway, I'm going to challenge you guys with that ACT. Okay, so let's talk about finding your voice. Let's talk about what this means, okay? Because I was brainstorming this a couple days ago, and I had a ton of just keywords that I was thinking of and I was jotting down. And the main word that I kept coming back to is being authentic. I believe, finding your voice as a coach, it's really, truly most important that you feel like you are being yourself. And I know that you've heard that a million times. I know that Dr. Seuss says it, and I know that it's sort of like an oversaid, overheard phrase. But as far as finding your voice as a coach, as far as truly building your team culture, building your organization, really helping your challengers, it's so, and back up to even finding people to help or finding people to encourage and support in our groups. It's so important that you're authentic. Authenticity sells itself. When we know our purpose, our courage is unlocked. And so that could not be more true. When a new coach has a very clear, I think of my girl Julia, okay? When you've got a very clear purpose of what you're doing as a coach, what your goal is, who you want to reach, what you're going to do to do that, your courage unlocks. And of course, it's a little uncomfortable. Social media puts us out of our comfort zones, right? I mean, when you're a new coach and you're starting to post online, and you're sharing parts of your story, or even you're sharing your fitness journey, which in itself is vulnerable, it can be a little bit scary and it can be a little bit intimidating. But when you know your purpose, your courage unlocks because that purpose is more important to you. And so that's obviously going to be very different for each one of us, but really thinking about that, not just being another coach, not just going through a training in the Coach Online office or on our team website, of being yourself or branding yourself, but not just like listening to that, but really thinking about this. What is your purpose as a coach? What is your purpose as a health and wellness coach? Whether you're a hobby coach, a business builder, whatever it is that you are, it is very important that you know your purpose, because at that point, when you care enough about that purpose that you have, that fire in your belly, it gives you the courage. It unlocks that courage to do the action that needs to be done to move forward. So, and when you're genuine, I mean, people can see that even on social media, in our conversations with people. When you're genuine, people understand that you're not just in it for a sale. My challenge to you is to be the minority, meaning allow your purpose to be unique. Of course, there's a lot of us who have a purpose or who have a goal, similar goals, I should say. Goals maybe to spend more time with your family or create financial independence, or maybe it's more physical and it's more fitness related, or it's more about specifically our challenges. Like it's just incredibly important to you above all else to help X amount of people lose X amount of pounds. Whatever the goal is, it might be very similar to other people's and among the team. But your purpose is going to be truly unique to you. Your purpose is going to be one of a kind. And so I want to encourage you to be that minority. But when you're going to be the minority, meaning you have a very unique purpose, you have a very special purpose, I'm going to challenge you to go all in with it. It's not enough just to know your purpose. It's not enough just to say, okay, yeah, it's clear to me why I'm doing this, what this means to me, et cetera, et cetera. You've got to back it up with going all in. Because when you go all in, that really solidifies your commitment to your purpose. So I might be like talking circles here, but when I see somebody who is clearly, it doesn't matter what business they're a part of or what their goal is, but when I see somebody sharing their purpose, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. They're very, they know what they want to do. They have this mission in life. They've got purpose. But then when I see them backing it up, and I see the action behind it that really supports that purpose, man, I want to do nothing but cheer that person on. And so even when you have people in your network who aren't interested in a business, who aren't interested in fitness or a DVD or a shake or whatever, when you are somebody that's conveying this purpose and you are backing that up with action, I would bet you 9 times out of 10, even that person who wants nothing to do with what you have to offer, they're going to support you and they're going to encourage you and they're going to cheer you on, because you are backing up what you say. You're backing up this life that you want to live, and you're going all in with it. So be the minority, know your purpose, and be very authentic to yourself, because that's going to unlock your courage. So 2 little points here. 1, your authentic self will sell itself. And so you don't have to worry about pushing sales or numbers or products. I promise you, Jessica Maselvis just typed, she's like the prime, it kind of gives me goosebumps because I'm so proud of her in like a friend way. So happy for you, Jess, because you look at Jessica's page, you've been following Jessica for the last few months. She has been nothing but 100% dedicated to being proof the products work, which is one of our vital behaviors. And what do you know? Jessica is leading an awesome team. She's got awesome new coaches who are digging in with her. She is hitting Success Club every month. And she posted today about a really great milestone that they hit. So what do you know? When you're authentic and you do what you say you're going to do, people will back you up. You build that fire behind you and it builds momentum. So the 2 questions I want you to ask yourself here is, number 1, what are you good at? It doesn't have to be burpees, like what are you good at just in general? Think about that. It can be It could be anything, but what are you good at? And then number 2, what do you love? What would you say that you are passionate about? What do you have a passion for? A lot of us might say our family, or a lot of us might say our faith, or helping other people, or independence. I don't know what it is for you, but what do you love? Figure out that passion. So what are you good at? And they might not be the same thing. So keep that in mind. Number 1 and number 2 might not be the same thing, but what are you good at? And what do you love? So jot those down if you haven't already, and I want you to think about that either now, maybe the first thing comes to mind. I guess in the chat box, if something comes to mind, like right off the top of your head. Number 2, what do you love? Just give me some answers of what do you love. It could be anything. It could be your dog. It could be office supplies. It could be anything. What's the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you, what do you love? So start typing those out when you hear that. What do you love? Perfect. Love it. Dogs, family, peanut butter, talking, speaking, family. Wonderful. Okay, so keep that going. Vacations, family, peanut butter. You guys are awesome. Okay, so think on those things. Design, brunch. I mean, all those things are relevant. Don't think any one thing is silly. Flowers, perfect. What do you love? Okay. All right, next point here. Good. You guys are awesome. Tacos, home decor. Okay, so my second point here is about standing out. This quote, it means a lot to me. I was reading it actually again yesterday, and I wanted to pass it on to you and include it in this team call because I think it's relevant. So we're talking about standing out. We're talking about finding our voice as a coach so that we're not just, in the herd. So passion, it gives us energy. So that whatever you're passionate about, whatever you love, whatever someone doesn't have to convince you to start talking about, it's like, what's the thing that you'll sit around and talk till 2 a.m. about, or what's the thing that you'll hop on Pinterest and research, or you'll read article after article about? I don't know what it is, but that passion that you have, it gives us energy. It energizes us. And it's also what can separate us from the crowd. So these things that seem to have nothing to do with Beachbody or nothing to do with building a successful business, they actually do, because they're part of your personality. They're part of your passion, which energizes you. When you're an energetic person, that comes off on social media. When you're talking about sharing, discussing, whatever, talking about these things that you're passionate about, it's exciting. It's like people want to take part in the conversation with you, or they want to check out what you've checked out. I've seen this tenfold with baby products, pregnancy products, because that's something I'm passionate about. It might seem so stupid, but I'm really passionate about finding unique things for my family. It doesn't have to be necessarily root. It can be my home. It can be whatever. And so I find people are messaging me all the time. Hey, where did you get that blanket? Where did you find that candle? What did you say about that? Whatever. Not that I'm some amazing master, but it's just because that's something I love to do. It's just a little tiny silly hobby that I have. And people start conversations with me all the time about it, or they'll comment on my post about it. So it starts to help me connect with other people because I've put myself out there. I've shared my passion with other people, and it begins to separate you from the crowd. This is personal branding. So again, it might seem silly when you're talking about peanut butter, or it might seem silly if you're talking about flowers or whatever. But if you do it right, if you really think about that, this can become a part of your personal branding. And it's what begins to attract other people to you. And so my first 2 years as a coach, man, I feel like I was just slamming the pavement, so to speak, as far as invites go, as far as, inviting boldly to my challenge groups or to join my team as a coach if I felt like they were a great, potential. But eventually, because I built my brand, and even though it's kind of a hodgepodge personal brand, but I've built my brand over the years, the majority of people find me now. And I'm not saying that's the only way to do it. There are a lot of, it's probably half and half for me now. I boldly invite, but I also have people who are attracted to me based on the content that I put out there. And it's probably not one post. It's more than likely 10 posts compounded into telling them, hey, this might be somebody that you can relate to or that you could connect with. And it gives them the courage to either, comment on a challenge group invite that I have, or maybe even reach out about some pacifier clip that I have for Rue, whatever it might be. And it starts the conversation, but it attracts other people to you. So I can't emphasize this enough, how important it is that you unleash the stuff that you're passionate about. Stop talking about the same boring stuff. I mean, no offense, but like, stop talking about meal prep and Shakeology every single time that you post on social media. It's important to talk about that for sure. I'm not saying don't, but you got to bring in other things. You've got to bring in more personality. And again, this silly stuff, you've got to put in your personality so that it allows people to feel comfortable reaching out to you because they feel connected to you. When all they see us doing is meal prepping and drinking Shakeology that they feel is this costly protein shake, they don't know the difference, right? So they don't know the meaning of it. So when all they see us do is talk about that or use these really vague terms like T25 or 21-day fix, and they have no clue what it is, it creates this gap, you guys. It creates this gap of like, oh, I'm not in that club because I don't know what she's talking about, you know. But you can use these things that you're passionate about, these personality pieces that you use for personal branding to connect with other people. It's sort of like the connective tissue that grabs a hold of other people and attracts them to you. So this quote is pretty, okay, this quote is pretty phenomenal. The person who wins the race, the quote unquote race, isn't always the fastest, but they started first. And so that's going to lead me into this next point that I have, but I want to read that again. The person who wins the race isn't always the fastest. They just started first. And my gosh, that's true for me. I think of some of our girls like, you know, like Ali Tessitore or Ashley Brockington or Nicola Anderson or Laura Bazell or all these people, all these leaders that are just doing incredible things, very unique, just very branded, just very committed. And I'm like, man, you guys are awesome. The only difference between me and them is I started first. The only reason I got to 15-star diamond first with us, with our team, with our leaders is because I started first. I truly believe that. And so, but when you see people crushing their business, man, let that breathe life into you. Let that inspire you. Okay, so this last part until I go into our laws here, but sow seeds that benefit other people. Okay, sow seeds. So we talk about this farming analogy all the time because it just makes sense, right? But plant the seeds that are just going to benefit others. Stop thinking about if it's going to turn into a challenge pack sale, or stop thinking about if it's going to turn into them signing up for such and such. Simply plant the seed if it's going to benefit somebody, and determine your success by the seeds that you sow, not by the harvest that you reap. I guarantee you that mindset, that mental shift will energize you. It'll give you purpose. It'll allow you to enjoy the work that you do. And it won't be so like, oh, I got to get one more point or whatever that consumes you. And before you know it, you'll be hitting 20 points, 40 points, because you won't be so focused on the point. You'll be focused on sowing seeds that benefit other people. And eventually that turns in to the product or the result that you want. I guarantee you it does. Okay, let me move on so I can stay on time here. Okay, so quick little point here is that growth is a choice. You know, we have so many coaches within Dynasty United now. I mean, thousands of coaches. And sure, some of them are not building a business right now, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are interested in earning an income based on helping other people. And so I want to really speak truth on these calls because I never know who will be listening or who will listen to the recording. But I want to give you some tough love here because growth is a choice. Choosing to stay at earning $50 a week is actually a choice. That growth in your business is actually a choice. That growth in your fitness journey, barring any medical situation, obviously, that's a choice. You know, choosing never to finish a program start to finish, that is a choice. And then on the flip side, growing as a coach, growing specifically, not even as a coach, growing as a business owner, that's an absolute choice. And so what I want to talk to you about here is that, number one, you choose your environment. And I don't mean necessarily physically, but that's part of it too. Number one, you choose your environment. And number two, you choose your commitment to consistency. You choose. This part of your growth is an absolute personal choice. Your sponsor can't choose it for you. Your success partner can't choose it for you. Your spouse, whether they're supportive or unsupportive, they cannot choose it for you. This is a personal choice. And so these are the two laws that I was talking about. The first one is the law of environment. These are laws on John Maxwell's 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And I went to a separate seminar that he kind of expanded on this stuff too. So this is my jam. I love this stuff because it is so pertinent. It is so true. So the law of environment, it says that we grow best and thrive in certain surroundings. Okay, so we're talking about, don't lose the point here. We're talking about how to find your voice as a coach and connect with more people. Okay, so all of this applies. All right, so we talked about our passion. We talked about standing out. We talked about being authentic and attracting people via our personal brand. And so now we're going to talk about the law of environment and being in a spot where you are going to best grow and thrive. So the challenge here is to place yourself where the environment is best for you to grow. And you guys, number one, spend time with great people. They should be bigger than you, better than you, faster than you. Apply that however you want. But spend time with great people. Number two, visit great quote unquote places. Sure, that could be physical, but if you're not ready to go to Ireland next month, I'm going to give you some other ideas for places. When you are over your head, it doesn't matter how deep the water is. I know so many new coaches. I know I felt like this when I was a new coach. It feels like you are underwater. It feels like the water is over your head. It's overwhelming when you first start as a new coach. You think to yourself, what is a Star Diamond? What is Success Club? I don't know what a leadership ladder is. It's all these terms that you're having to get to know. And so think about this. When you're over your head, you're already over your head. It doesn't matter how deep the water is. So dive deep. Get in there and just learn, just grow, just be a sponge, just choose to place yourself where the environment is best for you to grow. Now that is my number one commitment to the Coach Family page, that it's always an environment that is best for growth. And so to me, that means welcoming new coaches, acknowledging and recognizing new achievements, sharing great posts, asking questions so that we can all as a community help more people with more knowledge and more insight. It also means keeping the negative Nellies out of there or creating a specific place for conversation to make sure that it is solution oriented or that it is helpful, right? So that's my commitment. But these places, these quote unquote places that you can go to, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. They can be team pages. Get plugged in. When's the last time you went live in a team page? It doesn't have to be my Coach Family page. It can be whoever's, and I don't even consider it mine. I just consider it ours. But either way, when's the last time you went live in a team page to share a great takeaway that you have from personal development? When's the last time that you Zoomed with your success partners and talked with them about a personal goal that you have? I hope it was recently. What about your challenge groups? Are you showing up? Are you visiting those challenge groups with great intention, with an intention to grow, and to ask questions and to show up every day, sharing that you did your workout, drank your shake, ate healthy? Events. Are you showing up to events like maybe Super Saturday, or maybe there's another local event in your area that you don't know anybody about? Maybe it's a local meetup or it's a fit club and you have no clue about it, but that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity for you to place yourself in that environment, to meet new people, to network, to learn. And then of course, team calls. This isn't a physical place, but this is a place where the dedication is for growth and for learning and sharing and, spending time with great people. And that means spending time around coaches who have gone ahead of you. That means spending time around specifically coaches who are doing better than you, or they're earning bigger checks than you, or they're, something faster than you, whatever it may be. Again, allow that to inspire you. Allow that to sort of turn on this light bulb inside of you that says, they're doing it, I could do that. I bet I could do that in my own way. And allow that to really fuel you and sort of ignite that momentum within you. Okay, so spend time with great people, visit great places, and control the environment that you are in. Show up to these places: team pages, success partners, challenge groups, events, local meetups, and team calls. Okay, the second law here, which is probably one of the most important laws of John Maxwell's laws, the law of consistency. This law says that motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. I can't tell you how many times I've hopped on a GSR call, getting started right call with a coach, and they are so ready. They are just excited, and it's a really fun time to chat with them and learn about their family and to hear about their goals. And then like 72 hours later, it's like, where did that person go? Like, where did they go? What happened? What happened to that motivation? It got them going. It got them to schedule a call. But the discipline, motivation, you guys, cannot come from anybody but yourself. Your sponsor can't motivate you. Your success partner can't motivate you. Your spouse can't motivate you. Maybe to a degree, but that discipline, it can only come from ourselves. And so I truly don't care who your sponsor is or how engaged they are in the business. You've got a coach family that cares. You've got team calls at least twice a month, and you've got other things to plug into, not to mention hundreds of coaches within our coach family who are incredible at what they do, and they share it. They share it whether it's on their Facebook pages or on their YouTube channels. So that's really not an excuse, because discipline's got to come from you. Only you can be responsible for disciplining yourself, and that discipline is what keeps you growing. This was a really great concept that I've learned a few months ago, is that decision making is overrated. Meaning, yeah, make the decision. That's important. It's really awesome. But decision managing is underrated. Meaning, once you've made that decision, okay, good for you. That's awesome. It's important. But that's not the only thing. What about managing that decision? What about that decision that you made? Or also, I'll talk to myself. What about the decision that I made to follow 21 Day Fix as my first postpartum program without skipping any workouts? What about that decision? Once I start to manage that decision, and I'm like, oh, well, I've done okay. It's just yoga, so I'll skip the yoga. And so I'm not managing my decision anymore, right? So it's like, I easily kind of slip up on this decision that I made because I'm not committed to managing it. So we have all made a decision to help people as coaches. To whatever degree you do that, that's fine with me. I don't really care if you make $1. It doesn't matter about the money. It's about that decision that we made to become a coach, to be a part of a family of coaches who help other people. So you've made the decision. Now we've got to manage that decision. The average person takes only 17 days to stop doing what they set out to do, basically to quit. 17 days. And I can say that is so true for a lot of my coaches. And I know I felt that way before on programs especially, or when I'm reading a book, a personal development book. If it's taking me longer than, 2 weeks, I'm like, oh gosh, what's the next one? So the average person, it takes 17 days for them to stop doing what they set out to do. This quote is everything, right? All my life, I've been working to become an overnight success. All my life. The law of consistency. That return on investment in your business eventually comes after you do the work. The work, it can never be skipped. We're recently celebrating a lot of, really great, incredible paychecks or incomes, or you might see a lot of posts on social media. You guys, the work is behind all of that. The support of our coaches and our challengers is behind that. And you guys, honestly, oftentimes it's either hours and hours of work, or in my case, years of work to earn the Million Club, so consistent work. There's a difference between whiners and winners. This is what John Maxwell says. Whiners, they want to feel good before they do something, but winners do something in order to feel good. So maybe identify which one you are or you have been recently. I know I can tell myself I've been a whiner in a lot of areas of my business in the last couple months, but I also know I have it within me, and I know we all have it in us to do something in order to feel good, to be winners, to act before that result is there. So are you a whiner or are you a winner? And lastly, it's easier to go from failure to success than it is from excuses to success. So at least the people who are failing, they're going and they're learning. Each failure, you guys, aren't we all learning? Every time we mess up or we miss the mark on this or that, we're learning. But when we're just bogged down with excuses, it's never going to end in success. Those excuses aren't going to get us anywhere. So let me recap here, and then I'll open it up in case anybody has any questions in particular. But I wrote trust and believe up there because I didn't want to forget to say that. Trust and belief. I really believe that as we're finding our voice as coaches, when you find your voice as a coach and you connect with more people, it's because you've built this trust and you believe in your mission. You believe in yourself and you believe in your mission. And so the more people that you connect with by using your own voice, you connect with them because they trust you. And so think about it like that. How can you earn the trust of the people that you want to help? It's not by, I can tell you how it's not. It's not by not posting on social media for a week because they're like, where'd she go? She must not be doing this thing anymore, right? Or they always assume the worst. And so you have to keep that in mind. Are you going to build trust by starting a program and never talking about the process? I don't care if you lose 10 pounds in the program. I don't really care if you actually mess up. At least share about it. At least be honest and vulnerable and talk about the journey. So to recap here, my challenge to you is sort of threefold. It's to identify your passion and your strengths. Remember, your passion energizes you, and your passion is what's going to allow you to stand out from the crowd, and eventually, done consistently and done the right way, your passion is going to allow people to be attracted to you, and you're going to use your strengths. There's the other quote I actually talked about on my personal Facebook today. It said that the person that keeps practicing what they're bad at is just permanently bad. Which kind of made me laugh because I know I've done it before. I'm like, okay, I want to get real streamlined with my forms or something. And I try to like set up all this importing to my email. It's like, that's not my strength. It just blows up in my face, right? So if you're practicing things that you're bad at, more than likely, you're just going to be permanently bad. And so, of course, there's exceptions to that, but find your strengths, find your passions, and just dive into those strengths and those passions. The second recap piece here is to place yourself in an environment for growth. Sort of evaluate that. Are you showing up? Are you participating in team calls or team pages or success partnerships, whatever it may be? Even the people that you hang out with socially. I mean, this applies to not just business. This applies to life, really. So place yourself in an environment for growth. Are you, and this talking to myself too. I'm not judging anybody, but at work or at anything that you go to, are you taking part in more gossip or like things that aren't really productive, or are you taking part in a conversation or an activity that's helpful or that is life-giving? And then the third recap item here is to discipline yourself to be consistent. Consistency in your strength zone is what makes you great. Consistency in your strength zone is what makes you great. So that discipline has got to come from within, and that discipline is what is going to keep you growing. So when you do these things, when you identify your passion and your strengths and you work there, when you place yourself in an environment for growth, and when you discipline yourself to be consistent, you're going to find your voice. You're going to find your voice, which is going to connect you with other people, which is going to give you an opportunity to help more people, which is our mission, right? To help more people live healthy, more fulfilling lives. And, a financial independence is a bonus to that after the work is done. You build that trust. People begin to trust you when you are being authentic, when you are the person who is so consistent. That's the thing for me, like consistency. It's not even about checking it off, your to-do list, posting every day or doing your workout or drinking your shake. That consistency is what builds trust. It's what allows somebody to say, even a stranger, which is my case now. I'm 100% in my cold market now. So like the people that I'm helping, 9 times out of 10, I don't know them at all. Complete strangers, sorry. But they learn to trust me based on the content or the consistency at which I post, share, do. And so I want that same thing for you. So the people who are struggling with, the coaches on here that are struggling with starting and stopping, whether it be your business or your fitness, I want to challenge you just to remain consistent and allow that to be your number one focus for 30 days. Tell your upline, tell a success partner, be very consistent in just one thing. It could be tracking. It could be 21-day fix. It could be inviting. It could be whatever you want it to be, but choose one thing and be determined to stay disciplined, to be consistent for 30 days. And I guarantee not only will you build trust with others, but you're going to build belief in yourself. these disciplines, this consistency, and this environment that you're in are going to help you build that belief that you can make a big difference as a coach, because you can. And so let me stop screen sharing here because you don't need this anymore. Okay. So that is my call. That is how I believe you can find your voice. I'm a true introvert, and I know there's a lot of us introverts within our team, and there's a lot of extroverts too, which just because you're an extrovert doesn't mean you have found your voice. But introverts, I know especially, can struggle with this. And so don't worry about being the loudest voice. Don't worry about being the post with the most likes or the graphic with the prettiest glitter or whatever. Don't worry about that. Just focus on being authentic. Focus on being true to yourself. Talk through your passion, which is going to give you energy. And then control what's in your control, which is the environment that you place yourself in and the decision to be consistent. So that is what I have for you. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm so excited that we were back to these team calls. I learned so much even just in prepping for this stuff. When I'm going through my resources, going through and thinking about what I've been talking to some of you guys about, it's really energizing for me too. So I appreciate you guys hopping on here. I appreciate those of you who are watching the recording. If anybody who's on live, if you guys have any questions, I'm able to stay on for about 5 more minutes. If anybody has anything in particular that you'd like to talk about. And for those of you who are new, these are automatically recorded. And so whenever, let's say you were working tonight or you had a prior commitment, if you wanted to watch this call as a recording, you would just click the same exact link that was the live call. So in the coach family, there's that link. You just simply click that and it'll take you here to my YouTube page, and you'll be able to listen to the recording. The second thing you can do is just come to my YouTube channel, and it'll be public here as well. Okay, any questions before we hop back off and get back to family or power hour or whatever it is? I hear my little Roo baby. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate you tons. I hope that you will find your voice, exercise that passion of yours to develop that authentic self on social media and connect with more people. Okay, I love you guys, and I will see you on Facebook. Bye, you guys.